This podcast is sponsored by Marias Gamesa. Marias Gamesa knows that motherhood is a journey full of love, learning, and care, and our cookies have been part of that journey for over 100 years. Whether you're recreating family dessert recipes or creating new holiday traditions like making s'mores or bonding over a PB&J sandwich made with Marias Gamesa, these cookies are there to make every moment special. They're a way to share love with your family every day.
Dunk them in coffee, tea, or hot chocolate. Pair them or create your own dessert magic. However you choose to enjoy Maria's Gamesa cookies, it's perfect for warming up those cozy moments with flavor that feels like home. Maria's Gamesa, made with mom's authentic love.
A lot of people are not honest about their glow up and what they need support in. I also encourage people to break up their glow ups into physical, like social, which would be everything from a social calendar. What sort of events do you want to network at, to what sort of hobbies do you want to have? What sort of galas do you want to attend? Career and finances. So is that a promotion? Do you want to pivot into a new industry? Do you want to launch a business? And then mental, spiritual, and sort of like that emotional state. Do you want to get into therapy? Do you want to create a spiritual practice? Do you want to start meditating?
Hi, I'm Amanda Booz.
Hi, I'm Krystal Vega,
And this is Elevathers Podcast, where we talk about the peaks and valleys of life's journey, from relationships, friendships, entrepreneurship, all the ships, and even give you a little sizzling taste of social media's hot topics, all from the lens of modern womanhood. And this is an episode you don't want to miss.
No, literally. This is a really good one. I'm so excited. We have a very special guest. We always say that because all of our guests are special, okay? But today we have senior leader specializing in diversity and inclusion, also content creator, corporate baddie. Mm-hmm. Honestly, she should have been the third host of Elevators because that is literally what she does, what
Facts.
she talks about. Like, that is who she is. We have Miss Jodie Taylor.
Yes.
Welcome to the show,
Hi, Jodie.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. What an intro.
We're so excited to have
So
you.
happy. Yes.
Thank you.
I literally, you guys know the meme of the little girls like, that's me right now. That's
I'm
like
obsessed
my
with
heart.
y'all.
Yeah.
No, we love you. We're so excited to have you. And we have so much to talk about. But for the people who are living under a rock, who is Jodie Taylor?
Ooh, you kind of shared it. So a senior leader of diversity, equity, and inclusion work. I've been in that work forever. I was in tech. Now I'm in the music space. And I'm also a content creator. And the intention behind my content is to really ensure, also kind of like your intro, to ensure that women, specifically women of color, have the tools and skills to navigate life, like to design and build their life intentionally. So whether that's career, social networking and galas, and how to get a mentor, how to get a promotion, how to navigate friendships, all of that, sort of like the untaught or unspoken rules is what my content really aims to demystify.
I love that. And you know what? As you mentioned it, you could really be the third guest on the show.
Yes.
Absolutely
No,
can.
the third host.
The
She
third,
literally
the
could be
third,
the
no,
third
third
host.
host. The third host, excuse me. But we talk about like glow ups and elevating, and you really capture a lot of that on your content, and then also give so many corporate tips and just so many things about travel and stuff like that. So we're gonna talk about all of these things on our show. And being that it's like a new season, people are, in the new year, getting ready to just live their best lives. What are some things you think people can be doing now to like be on their glow up journey and live the next 365 on a high?
So if you're interested in elevating your life for 2025, you have to plan for it. It's really an intentional and strategic process. And I think that's what a lot of my content is about, is moving away from having glow ups or like life just sort of happen to you, and you have to like sort of lean into it and plan it and design it and sort of take control back of your life. So what I encourage people to do is something called a wellness wheel. It's literally, if you just Google wellness wheel, something will come up, and it's basically the pillars of your well-being. And it's physical, it's spiritual, it's social, it's career, and your job is to sort of go through all of those pillars and see and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. If anything is less than a 5, that is an area of opportunity for you, and you want to start creating a plan of action around that. I also encourage people to break up their glow ups into physical, like social, which would be everything from a social calendar. What sort of events do you want to network at, to what sort of hobbies do you want to have? What sort of galas do you want to attend? Career and finances. So is that a promotion? Do you want to pivot into a new industry? Do you want to launch a business? And then mental, spiritual, and sort of like that emotional state. Do you want to get into therapy? Do you want to create a spiritual practice? Do you want to start meditating? So kind of breaking up your glow up in those 4 pillars will also help you understand and sort of like goal it out in a more intentional and specific way. But my first step is always recommending being really intentional about planning for it, and then also being honest. A lot of people are not honest about their glow up and what they need support in. I get asked all the time, what is the key skill if you want to like elevate your life and glow up your life? It is honesty and discipline. Like those are the only 2 skills you need to change your life. Honesty about what your areas of opportunity are, and then the discipline to change it and to keep that change. And that's pretty much it.
Ooh, I want to take a step back for a second, because I know we just kind of jumped into it, but for you, Jodie, on your elevation journey, what was the start of that? Like, was there like a specific life event that happened where you're like, I need to just get the board out and we're starting from scratch? Like, what was that? What was that moment for you?
Yeah, it was a pandemic, honestly. I had been working at Google at the time, and it was like a really great job, right? I think when we were in our 20s, like our mid to late 20s, life is good. You're sort of not being as intentional. I have this great job in tech. I'm living in Harlem at the time. I have friends. I have, I go to brunch every weekend, and life is fine. But the pandemic caused me to slow down and almost really get quiet with myself. And that was the first time where I didn't have all of those distractions. I wasn't in and out of the house every day, and I wasn't like going to brunch and I had to sit with myself. And that allowed me to really take inventory of, on the outside, yes, life was great. I had a good tech job and I had friends, but am I really aligned to my purpose? Do I feel deeply fulfilled? Do I feel like I am living the highest version and iteration of myself? So the glow up was definitely by accident. I did not like, oh my God, and today I'm going to glow up. It was like, I started in therapy, and Google offered free therapy. And so I started there, and then I was like, wait, this is actually kind of nice. And then from there, I got a personal trainer because I had the time and frankly the money, because I wasn't going out because it was a pandemic. And then from there, I ended up getting a career coach and a life coach. And then I ended up cutting my hair, and then I ended up sort of like changing my wardrobe. And then what I saw was that the world changed for me. Like how people related to me was totally different. The opportunities that I had access to were totally different. I was getting invited to things. I was getting pulled into opportunities. People were promoting me, and it was all because I was just intentional. And once again, it didn't happen like I want a better life, therefore I'm going to do these things. I sort of just liked how I felt. And then I had a moment where I was like, wait, my life looks I'm making more money. I have more friends. I have better relationships. Everything is different for me. And that's when I was like, oh, there's something here. Let me unpack it and then sort of share it with everybody. But it definitely was accelerated because of the pandemic. And then I went through this whole crazy season in 2022 where I had a lot of family loss and I got laid off from my job and all of these things that also helped me recalibrate what's important. But yeah, those moments of like stillness or even moments of disappointment or those valleys, that's when you really get that clarity for the glow up.
Peaks and valleys.
We were just talking about that. Peaks and valleys. You better find it. Stillness, solidarity, and you are wearing that haircut, girl.
Thank you, sister. I know.
You pull it up.
Thank you, because I remember the day that I did it, because Caribbean, your family is like, your hair, is your hair, is your hair done? Is it perfect? Is it And also if you're single, they're like, oh, men like long hair. I remember I went to the hair salon.
When you hear a good idea, it's natural to do a double take. That's what you might do when you hear Discover will automatically double the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match.
Wait, what?
Yup. Double the cash back is something so good, you might do a triple take. It pays to Discover. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to get a trim. And at one point, I was just like, can you get the buzzers out? Like, I just want to shave my head. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And so it was my intention. I kind of knew I wanted to do short at some point in my life. But as I was sitting there, I was just like, I need to release this. Like, can you just buzz it? And I loved it.
Yeah, you're beautiful, honey. And I feel your pain because I love getting my hair done, but it's stressful. Some days I want to cut it off too, so I might be close.
Please,
my only issue is like I feel my head and I'm like, I have a big forehead. I'm like, I just don't know how.
Or you could get a little swoop, a little bang in the front.
You know, some people have shapes. Some people have shapes aren't the same.
Yeah,
so I'm just like,
no, it's true.
Yeah,
I feel you. No, for real, me too. My boyfriend says all the time. He was like, "You got a funny shape head." I'm like, "Shut up, shut up." Okay, so I would never do that.
I love your bob.
Yeah,
you know, I
looks so
love
good.
the bob.
Thank you.
The bob is everything.
You know, I really love the bob, but I feel like it has taken from like who I am.
Ooh.
Like I'm a curly hair girl, and I think that the bob is cute, and like I'm trying her out. I'm working with her, but like, is it really Krystal? No, because I'm a curly hair girl.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So we have so many attachments. Women of color and Black women with our hair.
Oh my God, 100%.
And it's like you can relieve so much stress when you cut your hair and when you like take breaks or you change it up and switch it up. So I love that you shared that was like a moment.
And I will also say I have never felt more beautiful with no hair. Ever. Did you feel the same way when you cut your hair?
I felt that way when I cut my hair.
Yeah.
I was like,
I have
Like,
never felt more beautiful.
I have never felt,
Same.
And I was going to ask you if you felt that way when you cut your hair, because I always hear people talk about like what it feels like when they cut their hair. To have done it and like felt it, I was like,
Oh,
this is what it feels like.
You see
yes,
it.
I
Get a little
see it. And I'm
taste.
like, is this how people feel about babies too? Like,
yeah.
I'm starting to get it now. But yeah, so I definitely loved the feeling that came after cutting my hair, but I'm gonna grow my hair back eventually.
Okay. We support it in every season.
You look good at everything.
Yeah, you look good at
So
everything.
anything that you wear, you rocking it. All of us do. And
Thanks, girly.
I love hearing where the start of your elevation journey happened. But let's talk about in this new year some untraditional ways that we can elevate.
This podcast is sponsored by Marias Gamesa. Marias Gamesa knows that motherhood is a journey full of love, learning, and care, and our cookies have been part of that journey for over 100 years. Whether you're recreating family dessert recipes or creating new holiday traditions like making s'mores or bonding over a PB&J sandwich made with Marias Gamesa, these cookies are there to make every moment special. They're a way to share love with your family every day.
Dunk them in coffee, tea, or hot chocolate. Pair them or create your own dessert magic. However you choose to enjoy Marias Gamesa cookies, it's perfect for warming up those cozy moments with flavor that feels like home. Marias Gamesa, made with mom's authentic love.
But let's talk about in this new year some untraditional ways that we can elevate.
Yes, and I think you are the queen of that. And for example, like when you talked about the posing class, I felt like that was something that was very untraditional. Nobody would have thought of, but it was very forward thinking because we are in an era where photos are going to continue to be a thing, whether it's for Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever the case may be. Presenting yourself a certain way in your pictures and posing the right way, making sure that you're satisfied with the way you look is such a crucial thing for us and society, especially for women. So when you said that, I was like, she's brilliant.
and with posture. I'm like, when I seen you, and I was like, oh, I need to pull my.
Let me
sit.
Everybody
up,
sit.
high.
What I learned is you sit at the edge of your seat.
Oh wait, let me fix.
Yeah, you gotta sit at the edge of your seat, and
well,
then
that will help
basically
me
you gotta
I'm short anyways.
hold your shoulder too,
and hold your
shoulders blades back, and and it just like totally elevates the look when you have good posture. You look totally different.
Also, like for girlies, sometimes I'd be feeling like, oh my God, my stomach's out. It's not that my stomach's out, it's that I had poor posture.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Oh my God. So the day after my posture class, I made everyone in my office like change their posture, and one boy grew like 2 inches because his posture was so bad. He was hunched over like this. And then when you're not short, you just have bad posture.
Yeah.
Your stomach is not sticking out like that. You just have bad posture. I think the impetus behind, and I think back to the question at hand was like glow up tips and some unconventional glow up tips. I hated how I looked in photos. I did not think it was reflective of like how I actually looked. I would get the photos back and be like, what? I know I was not given this. And so it kind of goes back to the initial statement that I made around glowing up is about being honest with yourself about like, I don't like this. And also feeling like you have agency over your life to change something, being able to find help and experts to support you doing that, and then doing it and implementing it. And that was sort of like the posture was like one microcosm of it, but it's so much larger. Like I hated how I looked. I was like, I can be honest with myself. I don't look good in photos. Like, I hate how I look in these pictures. I can find someone who can support me on that. I was Googling and I was on Instagram and all of that. Found someone able to support, find experts. I think what women, specifically women of color, need to be better about is finding and soliciting expert help, like being really comfortable delegating and saying, I need support on something, and you as an expert in this, help me. So I got a posing and movement coach. And then she taught me some tips and tricks that I personally would not know myself. And now I implement it. But that is sort of like the premise of glowing up in totality is when you don't like something about your life, it's not finite. It doesn't mean like, oh, I hate the way that I look, or I hate my career, or I hate my job, or I hate how I look in photos. It is, I don't like something about myself, and I have the agency, the resources, the wherewithal, the discipline to change it. And now my life has changed in so many ways. So the posing coach is just like a microcosm of like glowing up generally. And I think it can be unconventional in that when you think of personal trainer, you think of this really expensive person, you go to the gym, etc. My personal trainer, I've never met him in real life. It was via Zoom. It was affordable. All of my homegirls and I went to him. We would work out in the building. So it's not unconventional to have a trainer, but you can find unconventional ways to glow up that aren't super expensive. Additionally, I had a career coach. She was someone that I worked with that we know she ended up leaving the organization and she was getting her coaching certificate. So you can find someone who's in coaching school and they'll coach you for free. So that's sort of like an unconventional glow up. I also have dating coach Anwar. Do you guys know who Anwar is? Coach Anwar?
We tapped Anwar. We're trying to get him on the show.
Anwar, come on the show, Anwar.
Yes, come on.
I love Anwar.
Yeah.
So he's amazing. Like that's an unconventional, like a love and relationship coach is really unconventional, but I'm all about getting support and like figuring out what my blind spots are. So that's like an unconventional way to level up is coaching. And like you can get a coach for everything. I have a movement coach, a therapist, a life coach, a career coach. There's femininity coaches. There's dating coaches. There's so many coaches. So that's an unconventional way to glow up. And I also think something else that's a little unconventional is social mentors. There's a lot of talk about career mentors, but there are actually people who can sort of guide you through whatever sort of social scene you're looking to navigate. So in New York, it's a very like
the Soho House, kind of like that type of thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's like a Soho House scene. There's also like these like sort of like more sort of like coveted prestigious affiliations in New York City. And there are people who can kind of help you navigate that social circle if you want to be a part of those social scenes. We have career mentors. So I think oftentimes when we think about glowing up, sometimes it's like, you know, getting your nails done or lashes. It's like, no, you can glow up in so many different aspects of your life, your social life, your love life, your therapeutic life, like you hating pictures, just being honest with yourself about what you don't like and like finding the resources, the agency. You can truly change your life if you're, once again, just honest about that, the fact that you don't like something, and also take into account that you have the ability to change it. Like things are not static, things are always dynamic. So if you hate the way that you look in photos, that's not a forever thing. If you hate the way that you show up in real life, that's not a forever thing. If you hate the way that you date, that doesn't have to be your story. Like glowing up is a really empowering sort of sentiment around you have control and intentionality over your life.
Being honest with yourself and actually doing the work and the steps necessary to make the changes.
And also asking for help. Like there are experts out there. You can pay them. You don't have to suffer in silence. Pay somebody and they'll do it for you.
Hello.
Yeah.
I always say that lie to the world, don't lie to yourself.
Yeah,
because
true.
that's where everything starts, is having that honest conversation with yourself. But I want to talk about socializing and, you know, like creating your social circle and what that looks like, because you talk a lot about that as well. So for 2025, what are some events people should consider attending? We work in entertainment, so like we know about it, but I think that sometimes the things that we find to be very common and
Accessible.
I know that it's kind of
accessible. Not everybody feels the same way about those kinds of events. So what do you think people should think about attending for 2025?
Yeah, I would say the target demo of the people that usually tune into my content are probably women between the ages of like 25 to like maybe 37, 38, 40.
Same for us. Same.
Yeah, so same demo.
Yeah.
And usually like somewhere in their career, like they have some sort of like a professional career. And so if that is like the target demo, and professional career could be content creator, professional career could be working in tech or finance. It's one of those areas. For that demo, I always recommend women to think about one like tent pole event. So a tent pole event is an event that happens every single year that is probably a little bit more expensive, but has amazing networking. So a tent pole event is Art Basel. A tent pole event could be Cannes in the south of France during the Week of Creativity. That is like an iconic week to go. It could be F1. It could be like one of these just like major, like even
an award show for like a network or something like that.
Exactly. One of these very difficult things to get into. The reason why I encourage people to go to one of those is because it's difficult to get into. The networking is just going to be elevated to a different degree. So you'll have access to people. And once again, make it relative to your industry. If you're a creator, you should prioritize Cannes. If you're in entertainment, maybe prioritize the Grammys, but whatever makes sense for you.
I like you said that. Don't feel like you have to go to every event.
Yes. Go to one.
That's a thing that everybody feels like, because it's a big event, I have to go to it. But go to something that you're going to literally benefit from it on a career perspective.
100%. And think about it as like both career and like career plus. Like it's social. It's maybe they're not quite in my industry, but they can be an investor in my company one day. So think about it like that way. So I always say one tentpole event, one like conference or industry event. So once again, if you're in tech, you're going to an Afro Tech. If you're in marketing or advertising, you're going to an Ad Color. Sales, you're going to CES. And then I also say join one sort of like affiliation. So that can be if you're a mother, that can be Jack and Jill. It can be the Links. It can be, I talk about Fortune and Forks literally every day. I have sent everybody your way. Because I'm like, if you want to be a part of like a members only club specifically for, I always talk about Fortune and Forks.
Fortune and Forks.
Yes.
Fortune and Forks fan club podcast.
Totally. So I highly recommend people to join a junior board, which is basically an organization, a philanthropic an organization for people 40 and younger. So that can be a museum, that can be Alvin Ailey, the Apollo, a dance theater. Joining a junior board offers you an opportunity to prepare for board membership, which is like a really prestigious opportunity. And also, it allows you access to really exclusive events. It also gives you the opportunity to network with people who are your peers. So it's a tentpole event. It's like an industry conference. It's a junior board or some sort of affiliation. And then some sort of like local event, like something that's in your city that happens year over year. And that's how I encourage people to think about their social calendar.
Wait, this is really good. Hold on. We might need to bring this back for a part 2. Hold that thought.